In a city steeped in wisdom, a seemingly innocent dish becomes the center of a deadly debate who truly bears the blame when a meal turns fatal. As four students confront the weight of justice, their answers could unravel everything. Will they uncover the truth, or will their choices lead to dire consequences? Baghdad, a city steeped in history, was a land where every street held traces of knowledge and every brick concealed deep secrets. Scholars and philosophers from around the world regarded Baghdad as their intellectual center. The pure individuals who emerged from here held a unique place in society, revered for their wisdom and insight. Among them was a distinguished philosopher and just judge, Qazi Noman, whose name resonated with authority and respect. His opinions were highly valued in every matter, and no decision was accepted without his decree. In an ancient alley of Baghdad, there was a small school run by Qazi Noman, where people came to learn about knowledge and philosophy. The walls of this modest institution were adorned with scrolls and manuscripts, each telling tales of wisdom from ages past. Today, Qazi Noman had made an important decision. He wanted to measure the depth of knowledge and wisdom of his four students. For them, this examination was not only a test of their intellect and capabilities, but also an opportunity to better prepare them for serving society. As the sun cast its golden rays through the narrow windows, a serious atmosphere filled the room. The students, eager yet anxious, were deeply engrossed in thought. Qazi Noman decided to assess their knowledge through questions, aiming to gauge not only their intellect but also the depth of their character. The discussions echoed in the room, revealing the true meanings of life, and each answer opened the door to a new story. Qazi Noman presented a peculiar and intricate case to his students. The story was about a man who prepared a dish for guests, which was exquisite in aroma and taste. Unfortunately, that very dish became the cause of the guest's demise. Investigations revealed that while bringing milk, the servant had seen a snake caught in the claws of an eagle, and a few drops of poison from the snake's mouth had fallen into the milk. With a furrowed brow, Qazi looked intently at his students and said, "This case is not merely about the nature of an accident, but is based on the principles of justice and responsibility. Consider carefully. Who is at fault? Is it the owner, the servant, or is it merely a matter of fate? Present your opinions with reasoning." The students began to ponder this extraordinary incident seriously, each preparing to respond according to their understanding. The first student stood confidently and said, "This is the result of the servant's negligence. If he had brought the milk container properly, the drops of poison would not have fallen into it. His carelessness has led to the loss of innocent lives. Therefore, he deserves punishment." Qazi Noman listened carefully to his argument and replied gently, "Your reasoning holds weight, and you mean to say that one should never abandon caution. However, making negligence a cause for punishment is only justified when there is intent to harm. This servant's crime is indeed negligence, but it is not such a sin that warrants the death penalty." The first student's argument was reasonable in his mind, but could not withstand deeper scrutiny. Qazi then looked at the other students, waiting for their opinions. The second student spoke earnestly, "In my opinion, the primary responsibility lies with the owner. Caution is paramount in hosting guests. He should have tasted the food himself to assess any potential danger. Had he taken this step, this incident would not have occurred." Qazi Noman listened patiently and smiled as he responded, "Your perspective has a point. The host should indeed be held accountable. But was it necessary for him to suspect poison? If this food had caused the owner's death, then who would be held responsible? There is a difference between intent and caution, and doubting intent goes against the principles of justice. Therefore, this argument is also incomplete." Dismissing the previous arguments, Qazi sought to know the views of the other students. The third student stood up and firmly stated, "In my opinion, this was merely a natural accident, and blaming anyone is unjust and unnecessary. The guests' deaths were written in their fate, and linking this incident to an individual's negligence or responsibility is inappropriate. If we speak of fate, then everything can be attributed to it, and thus no one should be punished. Mentioning fate limits the process of justice unnecessarily. This argument also did not fully meet the principles of justice." Qazi's gaze now turned to the fourth student. The student stepped forward with deep contemplation and spoke softly, "First, we must determine who witnessed this incident. Who saw the eagle carrying the snake? Who saw the drops of poison fall into the milk? If this scene was narrated by the servant, he comes under suspicion. It is possible that the servant added poison himself. If the owner provided this account, then doubt arises there too. And if there are no witnesses, then the one who fabricated this story is the true culprit. Qazi Noman listened to him, assessing his words with great depth, and then smiled, saying, "You have understood the principles of justice profoundly. Indeed, true justice can only be served by those who delve into the depths of questions, and you have excelled in this examination. You are worthy of this position." The atmosphere in the room shifted as Qazi's tone conveyed a message of renewed hope. The students' eyes sparkled with pride, and a sense of accomplishment filled the air. Qazi praised the insight of his students and advised the others present to delve deeply into philosophy and logic. He said, "Knowledge is a treasure that not only enlightens a person about the realities of the world, but also guides them in their actions and character." As the day progressed, the atmosphere of love for knowledge among the people was such that the streets of Baghdad buzzed with discussions about this incident. People not only praised Qazi's wisdom, but also took pride in the insight of his students, rewarding them with various accolades and honors. The news of the philosophical debate spread like wildfire, igniting conversations in homes, marketplaces, and even among the scholars at the House of Wisdom, the renowned center of learning in Baghdad. In the days that followed, Qazi Noman continued to mentor his students, encouraging them to explore the depths of philosophy and ethics. He organized discussions that delved into the nature of justice, the importance of intent, and the complexities of human behavior. The students, inspired by their teacher's wisdom, began to see the world through a different lens, one that emphasized empathy, understanding, and the pursuit of truth. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over Baghdad, Qazi Noman gathered his students for a final discussion on the case they had examined. "Today, we will reflect not only on the incident, but also on the lessons we have learned," he said, his voice steady and calm. Justice is not merely about assigning blame. It is about understanding the intricacies of human actions and the consequences that follow. The students listened intently as Qazi elaborated on the importance of context in every situation. "Consider the servant," he continued. "His negligence was a factor. But was it born out of malice? Or was it a moment of distraction? And what of the owner? His responsibility as a host is paramount, yet he could not have foreseen such a tragic event. We must learn to weigh these factors carefully." As the discussion unfolded, the students began to share their thoughts, building upon each other's ideas. They spoke of the need for compassion and judgment, the importance of understanding the human condition, and the role of fate in their lives. Each student contributed their unique perspective, enriching the conversation and deepening their understanding of justice. The fourth student, who had impressed Qazi with his insights, spoke up. "Perhaps true justice lies in our ability to forgive and to learn from our mistakes. If we only focus on punishment, we risk losing sight of the greater good. We must strive to create a society where individuals are held accountable, but also given the opportunity to grow and change." Qazi nodded in agreement, pleased with the direction of the conversation. "You are correct. Justice should not be a tool for vengeance, but a means to foster growth and understanding. It is our duty as scholars and future leaders to promote a society where knowledge and compassion coexist." As the night deepened, the students left the school with a renewed sense of purpose. They understood that their journey was just beginning, and the lessons they had learned from Qazi Noman would guide them in their future endeavors. They were not merely students of philosophy, they were now ambassadors of justice, ready to serve their community with wisdom and integrity. In the following months, the students started to apply their newfound knowledge in practical ways. They engaged with the community, offering their insights on various issues and topics, from legal disputes to ethical dilemmas. Their reputation grew, and they became known as the philosophers of Baghdad, a title that filled them with pride and responsibility. One day, as they walked through the bustling marketplace, they encountered a merchant who was in distress. His goods had been stolen, and he was desperate for justice. The students gathered around him, listening intently as he recounted his tale of woe. "I had worked hard to gather these goods, and now they are gone. I fear I will lose my livelihood," he lamented, his voice trembling with emotion. The first student, recalling the lessons from Qazi Noman, stepped forward. "Let us help you find the truth. We will investigate this matter and seek justice for you." The merchant looked at him with hope, and the other students nodded in agreement, ready to assist. They began their investigation by speaking to other merchants in the area. They learned that a group of thieves had been operating in the marketplace, preying on unsuspecting vendors. The students decided to set a trap, using the merchant's remaining goods as bait. They worked together, devising a plan that would not only catch the thieves, but also teach them a lesson. They set up a stall in the marketplace, displaying the merchant's remaining goods while discreetly observing the area. The sun rose high, casting a bright light over the bustling market, and the students took their positions, their hearts racing with anticipation. As the day progressed, they noticed a group of suspicious individuals lurking nearby, eyeing the stall with greedy intent. The students exchanged glances, their resolve strengthening. They had prepared for this moment, and they were determined to see it through. When the thieves finally made their move, attempting to snatch the goods, the students sprang into action. With a coordinated effort, they confronted the thieves, calling for help from nearby merchants and passersby. The commotion drew attention, and soon a crowd gathered, witnessing the unfolding drama. The students, fueled by their sense of justice and the teachings of Qazi Noman, stood firm, demanding accountability for the theft. The thieves, realizing they were outnumbered and cornered, attempted to flee. But the students had anticipated this. They had already alerted the local guards, who arrived swiftly to apprehend the culprits. The crowd erupted in cheers, praising the students for their bravery and quick thinking. Once the thieves were captured, the students returned to the merchant, who was overwhelmed with gratitude. "You have not only recovered my goods, but also restored my faith in justice," he exclaimed, tears of relief in his eyes. The students beamed with pride, knowing they had made a difference in their community. Word of their success spread throughout Baghdad, and soon, people began to seek the students' counsel on various matters. They became known as the philosophers of justice, and their reputation grew. They held discussions in the marketplace, sharing their insights on ethics, responsibility, and the importance of community. As the weeks turned into months, Qazi Noman continued to mentor them, guiding their growth as thinkers and leaders. He encouraged them to engage with the community, to listen to the voices of the people, and to apply their philosophical knowledge to real-world situations. The students flourished under his guidance, becoming not only scholars but also advocates for justice and compassion. One day, as they gathered in the school, Qazi Noman presented them with a new challenge. "Today, we will discuss the concept of mercy and justice," he said, his voice steady. "Is it possible to be just without being merciful? Can we hold individuals accountable while still allowing room for forgiveness?" The students pondered this question deeply, each reflecting on their experiences. The fourth student, who had previously impressed Qazi with his insights, spoke up. "I believe that true justice must encompass mercy. We are all human, and we all make mistakes. If we do not allow for forgiveness, we risk creating a society filled with fear and resentment." Qazi Noman nodded, pleased with the student's perspective. Indeed, mercy is a vital component of justice. It allows us to recognize our shared humanity and to promote healing rather than punishment. As future leaders, you must strive to balance justice with compassion. Inspired by their teacher's words, the students began to explore ways to incorporate mercy into their understanding of justice. They organized community forums where people could share their stories, fostering an environment of understanding and empathy. They encouraged dialogue between those who had been wronged and those who had made mistakes, promoting reconciliation and healing. As their influence grew, the students became instrumental in resolving conflicts within the community. They mediated disputes, offering guidance and support to those in need. Their efforts not only strengthened the bonds within the community, but also inspired others to embrace the principles of justice and mercy. Years passed, and the students eventually became respected leaders in Baghdad, carrying forward the teachings of Qazi Noman. They established a legacy of wisdom and compassion, ensuring that the values of justice and mercy would continue to thrive in their beloved city. In the twilight of his life, Qazi Noman looked upon his students with pride, knowing that they had become the embodiment of the principles he had instilled in them. They had transformed from eager learners into wise leaders, ready to guide the next generation in the pursuit of knowledge, justice, and compassion. And so, the story of Qazi Noman and his students became a cherished tale in Baghdad, a testament to the power of wisdom, the importance of justice, and the enduring strength of mercy. The streets of Baghdad continued to echo with the lessons learned, inspiring countless others to seek knowledge and strive for a just and compassionate world. As Qazi Noman advanced, he appointed his capable student as his successor. In that era, a Qazi's decision was considered a line drawn in the sand, and further investigation was deemed a legal violation. Therefore, to become a Qazi, it was essential to seek solutions to the most challenging issues, understand Islamic and legal matters, and possess a profound insight into philosophy and logic. Those who were worthy of sitting on the Qazi's chair were those who understood not only legal matters but also prioritized humanity and ethical principles in their decisions. I hope you liked the story. Please subscribe to our channel and express your opinion in the comments box. Thank you very much for your support.